Hello everyone, welcome to the Grand Star Cup Season 15 prediction stream. We'll be going over every team, looking at how you guys predicted they would finish, and I'm joined by Breaker today.
Hello guys.
Alright, so this is, I believe, the first season ever with a total of 66 teams, I think the most ever, so we have 11 divisions, each with 6 teams. So yeah, why don't we get started? Let's start off. We'll be starting from Division 11 today. First time ever saying that, Division 11. And looking here, we have Resurrection 2, uTorrent, Bull, At Your Mom's House, Supernova, and Negative Iron Guys. I guess we can just start from the bottom. Negative Iron Guys with a 5.11 average placement, running a roster of Boxcat, Donald Duck Bagging, Feared Bros, Home, The Twinkle, Lucky 7 Bagging, MSG Productions, Seapoopman, Cypher, Turbines, and Zom.
I'm not surprised they are rated that low, but I think like they are probably more dangerous than they are given credit to, because they already won one match against YMH yesterday, I think, or like 2 days ago. But most of them are like pretty
went 1-1.
I think they are like, most of them are pretty inexperienced in wars, but they have played a lot together already in the last few weeks, I think. So
yeah, they might be a bit new to warring in Grand Star Cup, but a lot of these names are recognized just from playing in Lounge a lot, and I've seen a few of these names in scrims as well. So even though they are rated quite low, I wouldn't be surprised if they managed to take some wins off of the other teams. They already did go 1-1, like we mentioned. So nothing too. So we'll see how they do in the end.
Yep.
Anything else you want to add about this team?
I think they have good team chem because they have a lot of fun while playing, and I think that's really important. So I think they will do better than their lineup looks on paper, maybe. So let's see.
All right, moving up to number 5 in Supernova. So this is a primarily CT team. That's, I believe, is their first time running RTGSC as a team. running a roster of Bowser 498, Dots bagging, Wolf, Froy, JQS, Joshua bagging, Reed, and Silver. So a lot of these names, I believe, have played GSC at some point, or at least have some RT War experience. But like I said, I think this is their first time running as a cohort together, which is probably why I'd assume they're placed at 3.53 in 5th spot. But I don't know. A lot of their lineup does have good experience, I'd say. So I wouldn't be like, again, too surprised if they do a lot better than their prediction. I'd assume they predicted this low just because they don't play RTs as a core. So I do think they played a match yesterday and I think barely lost, if I remember.
Yes.
Yeah, lost by 4. So
I
nothing
think
too shabby for their first war. Yeah, go ahead.
I think like coming from CTs could be an advantage though, because they are probably in the stronger part of the division mechanically as CT players, so that could be an advantage. And also like Froy for example does have like RT experience, and you see he did play the last 2 seasons in like the 78, so I think they could do pretty well.
Yeah, and again, even though they primarily play CT, like you said, they do have like the core war experience, so wouldn't be surprised again if they do quite well. And I know Joshua, even though he's a bagger, he's been kind of coaching them a lot, just because he does have that experience from running in some other teams. So, but yeah, moving on to your mom's house, running an LU of Breaker bagging. Hello, Brick.
Yo.
Cabbage bagging, Dimitri, Hank, Magnitude, 6/8, which I believe is Striker Blizzard, Snickers, Tiles, Tyler, and Zentrified. So I'll let you talk about this one since you're on the team. You probably know a bit more than me.
I'm surprised they are predicted that low, honestly, because I think they have a few like standout runners just from launch. Like Welders hit Plat last season and was gold for half of the season. Or even hit Plat this season, maybe, I'm not sure. Tiles is hit high tier this season, and like Snickers is consistently in silver, Hank hit silver. Mag did pretty well on launch. I think that team is underpredicted. And they've been friends for a long time, and they scrimmed quite a lot in the last few weeks, so I think they're like going to do well time-wise. And they have like really a few standout runners, I think. Also, Tiles, of course, having multiple world records, and he like improved his item play in launch, etc. So
yeah, I was gonna mention Tiles. You said world record holder, and I have seen him climbing the ranks in lounge, so would not expect him to be in the back very much with his speedy lines and such. But yeah, you know this team more than me, so anything else you want to add? I'm not too familiar with this team, unfortunately.
I think they're going to like they're trying to give everyone like at least some playtime, which is good because they've been friends for a long time. But I think they really like they will do really well chems wise, and they would be one of my favorites to win the division probably, just from individual skill and team chem. I'm not going to back myself. Cabbage will do that. I'm just there for if he like can't play at all. But yeah, and he's a magician in 9, so he's scary to back against.
I've heard some tales about that already.
Yeah.
All right, next we got Bull with a 3.05 placement, running a roster of Eliassi, Instaki, Kuha, Moba, Haranki, Taisto, Trillius, and Naitsa. Apologize if I mispronounced some of those. So I know for a fact this is a returning team. I believe a lot of these played under Tag Finland a couple seasons ago, and then I believe Bull itself has ran before. Correct me if I'm wrong. Quite similar core, I want to say, with Eliassi being the standout player here. Played lots of scrims, plays lots of lounge. I think he's definitely going to be their main carry, just because of how experienced he is, both running and just in wars in general. But I've definitely seen some of his teammates do quite well as well, so nothing to shy away from.
Yeah, I definitely think like Ilias is obviously their standout player, like on paper, but I like Instaki improved a lot in launch, and both Moba and Pironki and have been like really active in launch as well, for some like partly at least. So I think they have a good chance doing well. They've played together for a few years now, I think. So yeah, I do think
All right.
Ilias is like the most important part of that puzzle, though.
Yeah,
Kind of
definitely.
depends on
He's
how he does
definitely.
in the
Yeah, he's definitely gonna be their IGL. He's definitely gonna be their front source. So I'd expect him to do quite well in this div.
Yep.
All right, we can move on to uTorrent, number 2 at 3.03, with a roster of Cheesestick, Consumify, Coop, Fish Prism, Hypespeed, Maipuri, Malware, Meatball, Q-Sahab, Starter Bagging, and Z Yoshi Bagging. So I believe this core, or at least this group, has played for a couple of seasons now. I think this is their 3rd season. So lots of good chemistry. I know this group also plays CTs, so when they're not playing RTs, they're playing CTs, so keeping the war experience going. I think one notable difference from last season is they lost a lot of their... I think the main players that played last season moved to a different team, and they have Starter Bagging and Zyoshi Bagging, who, in my opinion, were definitely their 2 strongest players from last season. So they were originally placed in Division 10, but were moved down to Division 11, mainly based on the loss of those players and the experience level of the other players on the team. But you still got people like Malware, you still got people like Hypespeed who play RTs quite a bit and are more than comfortable on them. So Malware is definitely one of those players to look out for in this division on this team.
Yeah, I can't say too much because I'm not too familiar with most of the people in the lineup, but I know Hypespeed from launch, I know Malware from launch, Kusat from launch, and they're playing a lot, so I'm sure they will do well, especially if they play together a long time.
Yeah, last season they unfortunately lost in semifinals, but I do remember that was quite a scuffed series of matches. So even without some of their players last season, I'm sure they'll do fine this season. I mean, they're placed at number 2 for a reason, I'd assume.
Yep.
All right, and then last but not least for this division, we have Resurrection 2 with a lineup of Norik Bagging, Ben, Urk, Danny, Dry, Kita, Hitro, Rahul, Barks, Stripe Bagging, and Vogel. Once again, apologies if I mispronounced some of those names. You want to take this one? You might have a bit more familiarity than me.
Yeah, sure. I mean, of course, they have one standout player again with Rahul, I think. Rahul being in D11 is pretty crazy, I think. But even after, like, they have, like, just from looking at it, they have Danny, who was, like, played for ours a long time, I think. He's really experienced in wars. And they have two newer German players, like new to wars, with Benny and Kita, who are both like playing launch a lot, and I think they will do well. They were streaming a lot. They were probably the most active team next to Siwa in the last few weeks I've seen in the lower divs. So I think they're going to do really well just from having practiced so much, and a lot of them are German. So I think the fact that there's no real language barrier there makes it even better for Chem. Yeah, I think they're going to do really well if they just play focused and do their thing, because they did well in scrims. They played a lot. So, yeah.
Yeah, and then one thing I'm going to mention is having Stripe as your bagger and also maybe play a role as captain is quite an advantage, I think. He's probably the player with the most war experience period in this division. So I'd assume he's being a coach for this team, helping them a lot. And yeah, like you mentioned, some newer players on this team, but Kita, I believe in particular, I've seen him do quite well in Lounge. Haven't really seen much scrim from him, so I can't really speak on that, but I know he is quite active, at least. And then obviously Rahul is probably the best runner on this team by a mile. So interesting to see how this team will do. And then real quick, we can just show off who was voted MVP. So no surprise, Eliassi with 13 votes. I think that one is quite obvious. And then we have Rahul with 6, and then World with 3. So I think quite obviously the top 3 players in this dip. Maybe I was expecting to see a couple of malware votes. Not enough to make the top 3, I guess, but I'm sure he's in the list somewhere. Anything you want to say about these MVP votes?
I mean, I personally had Eliassi and World both on my quick draft sheet as well, so
Yeah,
I'm
those two
sure
are
like
probably
all
gonna
3
be
of them
on.
are going to, all of them are going to do really well individually. I mean, World already scored over 100 in all of his 3 matches, I think. So
Yeah, he'll do great things. All right, anything else you want to talk about this tip before we move on?
I think it will be an interesting diff. I think for winners, like for me, it would be close between YMH and RS, just predicting it, but it's hard to say because the skill level is really well distributed for the most part. So I think it's a close division.
Yeah, who do you got winning this?
What do you say? Sorry.
Who do you have winning this, or did you just say that and I just missed it?
I would. It's between YMH and RS2 for me. I would probably go for RS2, but very close for me.
Yeah, I'd agree. I'd agree. I'd pick the same. All right, on to Division 10. So we have Magistas Team 2, TY Team 3, Fake Itembox Team 2, Northwest, Ikokado Avocado, and Horizon. So starting off from number 6, Horizon, running a roster of AGT, Barzil, Cole, Leon Bagging, Simzy, Tensa, Weakcoin, Yayclips, and you. A couple names I recognize from here are Barzil and Weakcoin, obviously. I think they did really well last season for their first season of GSC. I expect those two to be the main runners and main scorers for this team. I unfortunately don't know too much about the other players. I think this is for the most part, their second season, if I remember. So I think the placements where they were, I think there was like 5.17. Yeah, placement of 5.17. I think understandably makes sense for a team like this. I think many people were kind of surprised that they weren't in Division 11 from what I saw just reading the chats. I think they just got outright switched with U-Torn if I remember, but we'll see what they can do. They might be able to completely surprise us, so I wouldn't fully count them out.
Yeah, I think it will be a nice challenge for them to not play bottom div. It will be hard, I think, but we'll see how it goes.
Yeah, I would not be surprised if they wanted to challenge themselves. That's a really good mindset to have, to challenge yourself to improve. So, props to this team for taking on that challenge. All right, number 5, Ikokado Avocado with a LU of Fire and Bagging, Fredix, Galden, Giorgio, Kinum, Master, Mycod, Rambo, Tachibana, Tita, and Yazid Bagging.
I don't know all of them, but I think it's a French team.
This is
name
primarily French. Yeah,
primarily French, and I think they have some really strong players for Division 10. Like especially, like I'm not familiar with all of them, as I said, but I think especially like Master and Tachibana could do really well on D10.
Yeah, definitely. Byron Bagging is also, I think, quite a strong suit. He's mechanically really fast forwards, and it's not that difficult for high div players to learn bagging. I know a lot of high div players that have picked up bagging really quickly, so I'd expect him to do quite good in this division. And also
Yeah,
play that
because-
role same as Stripe does for his team. Be a coach, give some pointers, help his team out, because as everyone knows, I'm sure he has plenty of Division 2 experience, dare I say Division 1 experience. Did really well in the World Cup this past couple weeks. So yeah, standout player, obviously. Even though he is bagging, definitely able to help out his team, both obviously bagging and also giving them some tips.
and also again, then primarily speaking French is also helpful to him, I think, overall. A lot of players just come from the same country or speak the same language. I think that helps a lot.
Yeah, definitely communicating in your native language is definitely a strong suit for this team, I'd imagine.
Yep.
Number 4, Team Northwest, the placement of 3.4. We got Ardux, Brophy, Kauja bagging, Enma, Jade, JC, Josh, Larone, Murray, Saga, Smoo, and Zaya. First off, I will say, I think this core has stuck together for literally eons now. And I think the standout player here is obviously has to be Jade. I think he almost MVP'd the last time these guys played, and he was consistently their highest scorer like pretty much every time. So expect him to do really well. And then I assume they're going to run an LU of something like Ardux Brophy, maybe Murray. I don't know if he'll play, but I think this team is a little underplaced at 3.4. I think they should probably be second or first even, just because of their history, their depth. Also still having some really good players like Jay, like I mentioned in this div. So what do you think?
I agree on them being like really strong as a team, probably because they played together for so long. But I'm not sure if they are underseeded because we have some really strong teams coming up. We'll get to them after this, but I think they're like, especially with 3D, they're going to do really well, regardless, and will definitely have a fight for playoffs.
Yeah, that's fair. I was honestly I thought they would honestly be voted a bit higher in this division, but yeah, what you said makes sense.
I think if you,
I can't argue
I think
with
if you
that.
look at the upcoming teams, they're really strong for D10. So I think it makes sense for them to be fourth, but I don't think that they are like weaker, like necessarily weaker than the other teams. It just makes sense on paper.
That's fair. That's fair. Yeah. Good points. Okay, moving on to Fake Item Box Team 2 with a score of 2.89. We have Dams, Jason Y, Jados, Edvilia, Marco, Merp Bagging, NP88, Hat1, TKS Memer, Tony, Waffle House, and Yuto Bagging. So again, this is one of those teams. I think it's changed a little bit over the years, but two Fake Item Box teams have had cores for quite some time now. So I'm sure they're all familiar with each other, all really comfortable playing with each other. I think the standout name here is probably TKS if he plays. I'm not sure if he'll play. I know Marco's played quite a bit, but I think he's returning to the game a little bit. Waffle House also quite, I don't know how active he is again, but I know he has been quite decent on RTs before. But yeah, overall, well-rounded team, I'd say. I think third or second is a good spot for them here. But yeah, anything you want to say?
I think Marco's probably going to do really well. I played with most of them because I'm on the first team right now, and Marco, like I've seen some tables from Marco where when he returned, he just scored 130 like twice in a row. So I think he could be doing really well. Also, Jason has improved a lot as a runner, and of course, TKS Mime, as you mentioned, really strong. Jados really strong. I think that's a really strong team for D10. Also,
Yeah, I
with
mean, if
Murph
you've
quite experienced at bagging, so
if you've played with them, you definitely know them better than me. So
I think this will be a strong contender for the win this season. I think they have a really strong LU if they manage to schedule accordingly and just stay together. I think that's really strong.
yeah. Right, Team number 2, Contingency Florps Abomination. The rating of 2.72. The roster is Anti, Evan, Texas Bagging, Florp, Under, Isaac, J-Ray, Cartier, Red, Trashy, Typical, and Zen Bagging.
I think this is probably like CY. Of course, they're mostly playing like mixed teams, but CY is by far the most active team right now. Of course, they have 3
definitely.
teams, but whenever you're trying to find a war, it's CY is almost always searching. And I think they have a few like really good individual players, of course, but I think all their practice will pay out eventually. I think because they played a lot, probably the most by far out of all the teams.
Yeah, I think you could generally take any 5 out of this list and throw them on the racetrack, and they'll all do fine. I've seen a couple of scrims where Trashy scores really well, so I assume Trashy is going to be playing like 10 for 10. I think he's definitely strong.
Yes.
Jerry and Isaac, I know, have also been playing RTs quite a bit. I know Jerry has a lot of RT war experience, both running and bagging. I think he's full claused, so he might be able to do both if needed. But yeah, overall, like, very solid rounded team. I would have honestly put this team number 1, just based on their depth and their experience and their history, but very close behind the number 1 voted team, so understandably in second.
I would have personally put them in second as well, because I think the first team LU is just kind of absurd for D10 on paper, honestly. So, but I think they have the most well-rounded roster out of all of them, I think, because you can like rotate through all of them and they would always do well without really losing anything.
Yeah, that's fair. You want to talk about first place then? You seem to know a bit more than me.
Yeah, you would have to read out the names though, because I think my sheet is not updated.
Okay, no worries. So I think the roster is Deli, Jaggy Bagging, Rans, Rhino Page Bagging, Tartaglo, Sneaky, Spock, Tiger Clamory, V, and Zexos.
So I think, first of all, Jaggy coaching the team is really valuable for them, I think, because he has a lot of experience. He's done a really good job managing the team. And then on I think like Riyadh will do really well in D10. I think he played D4 last season. I think, not 100% sure. I think he played D4 last season.
Oh yes,
and also,
on the JS team, right?
Yes. And also Zexo is a really strong player. Like everyone here is like really good. Deli, Tiger Clamory, Sneaky. They will do. I think they have a really well-rounded team, and they also scrimmed, like not as much as CY, but quite a bit. And I think they will do really well, because I think on paper they have the best individual players. I know that's not everything, but I think they played together enough that they will be a strong contender for first place here.
Fair enough. Yeah, I, on the other hand, I'm still going to stick with CY3 being the winners, solely because I think this team has a lot more experience together. CY has been playing for God knows how long at this point. So everyone very familiar with each other. I'm sure they've all been scrimming a lot together, even if it's mixed teams. I think just because Megistas is a little bit, I don't want to say it, I mean, I guess it's kind of an insta team. I think Jaggy's run this team in the past, if I remember, with a very different LU. I'm just not sure how much time these players have spent together playing previously. So just because of that, I'm going to say CY would take it.
Yeah, I will. As I said, I will stick with the exact prediction here. Actually, I would put Megistas in 1. CY and Fib is close for me for second place, just as a prediction. But I would bet on Megistas in first, and those 3 teams in playoff probably would be my guess.
And then real quick, we can go over the MVPs for this division. So no surprise, Jade in first, and that's Riyadh, you said? Was
yes.
This like, okay, yeah, so Jade, Riyadh, and Chere. I think no surprise for Jade. I think he's definitely the best. Briod being a close second is also very understandable. And then Jere is, I'm not going to say surprising, but I think he'll definitely do quite well, I think. But I think I would have honestly taken, where did he go? I forgot what I was looking for, but there was like one other player, I think. I think they're tied third with Jerry, and I just put Jerry on here because it was alphabetical, I think, for my sheet. But yeah, I'll stick with this. Jerry makes sense. Plenty of experience, so I think if he plays, he'll do quite well. But I think they just played a match without him, I think, if I remember correctly.
I haven't taken a look at that yet. But,
yeah, so they went 1-1 against Nikocado Avocado. And yeah, no Jerry in both the matches, but Trashy did end up with a big 117 in match 2, so we'll see how these guys do.
yeah, I'm surprised Trashy's not on the MVP prediction list there. At least not in the top 3.
Yeah,
I think
I would
both
have thought he would have been here.
Yeah. And also, I think both Trashy and Malcolm would definitely be on there. We'll see. Will be a very interesting division, I think.
For sure. All right, moving on to Division 9. So we have Banana Syndicate, Slay, Art. I'm just gonna say Zio because I'm probably gonna mispronounce the rest of it. Versatile and Luciphone Alliance. So yeah, starting from the bottom, Luciphone Alliance. I think this team has played before. I want to say a season or two, and I think most of these guys were signed up for the World Cup last year, which unfortunately got canceled. But I think this is quite a good team, to be honest. I'm surprised that these guys got put last. I know a lot of these guys play with each other a lot, and I know a lot of these guys are comfortable with each other. You have some strong people here, especially someone like Luke. Nairo, to mention, I forgot to go over the roster, but it's Annie, Kahlo, Dudu, Rito, Hidan, JMM, LSA, MP, Lucas, Natan, Nairo, PS3, JG, Red Shock, and Sota bagging. So Nairo being there, I think, clearly the best player on the team. In a similar role where he can help out his team by coaching them, giving them some tips. If he plays every match, I would not be surprised to see this team in playoffs.
I think having Nairo there in D9 is insane because he's so good at getting into the front early on, just sticking there. And I mean, he has played D4 or D3 the last few seasons, so I think that's a crazy standout player in D9. And also Luke is really strong in that team, I think, as you said. And also again, they're all Portuguese or Brazilian, I think, so they all speak Portuguese. So same language again, which helps them a lot with comms, etc. I think.
Yeah, definitely. And moving on to number 5 in Versatile. Team's been around forever, but there's been quite a few roster changes throughout the seasons, I believe. So this season they're running with At Cake Bagging, Alana, Josh, JTG, Kayla, Nikki, Yef, and Zijo or Zoomer. I think the standout player here is JTG. I'm pretty sure everyone will recognize his name. He's been around for a long time. He's played in quite high divisions before, so I want to say when Versatile was Division 3 or Division 4 or something like that. I know he was on their main roster there. Backkick bagging, once again, he's bagged for this team plenty before, plenty well experienced, fast player obviously. So I don't think he'll have any issues in this division. And this is quite a small roster. Typically, I'd see a lot more people on this team. So I imagine they're going to run like the same 5 every match if they can, with maybe 1 sub or something. But yeah, I think they're placed a little lower, or voted a little lower this season, just because of their roster decrease in power from last season or 2 seasons ago. And also just because I think a lot of these players aren't super active on this game anymore, if I'm not mistaken. So yeah, I think that's why they're at 3.97. But I do think they can win plenty of matches, so would not keep them out.
Yeah, I'm not too familiar with most of them, so can't really say how strong they are or not. I know they have been hired as before, but as you said, most of them are inactive, so or like have been less active at least. So yeah, I will be surprised for me how they do because I don't know enough about them.
Right, moving on to number 4. Once again, I'm just going to say Zio. Sorry for mispronouncing. With a roster of Ice, Urbe, Ba, Brix, Uyu, Gala, Closhi Bagging, Kesavis, Luke, Neko, Francis, Sal Bagging, Steven, and Manu to round it out. I believe this is primarily an Italian core team with a few other people on here. I think some players to keep an eye out for here are Gala, Brix, and Neko, and Francis. I think those are probably their strongest 4, if I had to guess. And then Sal Bagging and Closhi Bagging, both pretty experienced, I imagine. I don't know much about Sal's bagging history, but I do know he does have some. And Closhi obviously being a bagger for Beyond before and bagging plenty of scrim, so fairly well-rounded out team, I have to say. Unfortunately, don't know a lot about these players. Do you know anything else?
I mean, I scrimmed against them a few times, and I think they seem to have good comms with them. Also, because they're mostly Italian. I think Kino could be. I'm not sure if he's going to play, like how active he's going to be, but I think he could be strong for D9 as a German player on there. And yeah, I think like Closhi's a really good bagger for D9, and also Sal. Like he just has the game sense and mechanics already. So even if he hasn't bagged that much, but I think he did in scrims, etc., he will do really well as bagger. So I think it's a really well-rounded team.
Agree. I want to see if Gala plays a lot. I haven't seen him around very much, but I might be mistaken. So hopefully he'll make a strong return again.
I think he has played in a few scrims.
Okay, so I'm just lying. Sorry.
I think I have seen him in scrims. But I might be mixing him up, but I think I have seen him in scrims.
All right, next team, Art, number 3, with a placement of 3.55. We have Annie S for bagging, Exo bagging, Nanachi, which I believe is Dakota, 17, Tom, Bob, Weavy, Yari, and Zox. So I think 2 standout players on this team are Dakota and Bob. Those 2 would definitely have played the most out of anyone on this team, and I think are the best by quite a margin. I know Zox has been playing Lounge quite a bit, so I'm sure his mechanics are improving and have improved over the time he's played. But there's already been some discourse in the GSC server with this team claiming that they're going to drop, so we'll have to see how this plays out. Yeah. Anything you want to add?
Yeah, I think most of them are like pretty experienced launch players at least, or even war players in case of Dakota, but, for example. And also Zox has scrimmed a lot, etc. Has played a lot of launch, but as you said, I think they had issues with scheduling and their season planning, so they might not play after all. Yeah, we'll see.
Yeah, I think some of these names are like either going off of lounge names or like change names, so I apologize if I haven't recognized someone that I should. But yeah, anyway, moving on to number 2, Slay, my team, hello. So we're running a roster of myself, Chris bagging, Grant Worth, no longer JT bagging, unfortunately, but that aside, Keegan, Luke, or Elsuth, Mystique, and Starter. So I think most of these names people recognize from the CT side of the community. I think we're definitely in for a little bit of a challenge if I really want to speak. But being placed on number 2 gives me quite a lot of confidence. Just because we are a smaller team, I'd assume we're playing like the same 5 and then having 1 sub as before. But yeah, this is, I think, mostly everyone here has only played 1 or 2 seasons, I think, of GSC before, and it's been quite some time before this team has played RTGSC. I think literally if I go look in our server, the last time we had an RT scrim was like literally a year ago. So we're definitely a little washed on the RT side, but I do think we can do good here. Starter's been improving quite a lot. I do have to mention that. So I think he'll definitely be really good for our team. And then we have Chris bagging, who I think is really, really good. He has plenty of high bag experience, so I'm sure he'll have no problem in this division. But yeah, anything else you want to add about Slay, if you know anything?
I think it like you still have like a lot of experience in your team regardless, right? And I think like you will do pretty well individually. Is what I think. So I think you're like it's definitely a challenge, but I think you guys can do well in the division, definitely.
Yeah, I think we got it. I think the JT ban shouldn't really screw us over that much mentally. I think it's a little unfortunate for sure, but I think we'll still hang in there regardless. All right, and then finally, the number 1 team in this division, Banana Syndicate, placement of 2.08, so a full placement above Slay. Running a roster of Alex bagging, Alex, Debergi, Jake or Sal, Esameno, Joshua, Maddie, Neemsy bagging, Parker, Shmeez, Smoke, Venomous or Vtim, and Yukino. So right off the bat, I think the very obvious name here is Parker. He's MVP the past 2 divisions he's played, and he's been the team carry for like however they've played. I think 3 seasons now he's played with them, or 2 or 3 seasons. I don't fully remember. But in my opinion, a lineup of Parker, Maddie, and Tim is like the best in the division. And so like I'm really not surprised to see them at number 1. I would have thought their placement would have been like in the 1 points instead of the 2s. But just from I scrim here a lot, and so I know these guys have improved so much. And Parker's just been on an absolute tear lately, so I think he's definitely a contender for MVP again. And then the rest of the team, obviously, I don't want to forget anyone. This team scrims quite a lot too. And they do take a lot of harder wars for themselves. They like challenging themselves, I will say that. So they play a lot of harder wars than their level, and so they learn a lot and they grow from that. I can speak from experience playing there with them. So again, no surprise to me that they're rated number 1. Anything you want to add? I know you've played a bit with these guys as well, so you might know something I don't.
Yeah, I also scrimmed quite a lot there, and I think like it's not surprising they're seed 1. I also expected them to be in the 1s, honestly, average wise, because I think just Parker, Tim, and then they have good depth even after they have Maddie, Jake, Joshua, Alex, Shmeez, who will all do really well, and Debergi, and who all played a lot in the last seasons already. So they have a lot of depth they can rotate into, I think, and they're just really used to each other. They like have really good cam and are really strong on paper.
Yeah, and the last thing I'll mention real quick is they literally have Alex and Neemsy as their baggers, who I think Alex is probably the one with the most experience in this div. He's bagged D1 before, he's bagged high div before. So I think he'll be a shock farm for this team, which will only help them win even more. And then real quick, going over the division MVPs. So no surprise, we have Nairo and Parker in top 2, and then me in 3rd. I think the top 2 are really solid. Obviously, Nairo and Parker. Parker, again, been playing a lot, and he MVPs pretty much every single scrim and war I've seen Banana Syndicate play. And then Nairo being the strongest on Luciphone's roster. lots of height of experience, lots of war experience, so no surprise there. I'm definitely a bit surprised to see myself at number 3, but I won't harp on it too much. I think the people that know me would agree with me that I'm surprised, just because I tend to be a little goofy sometimes without meaning to be so, and so I end up not doing things very well. But yeah, I think that rounds out this division. Anything else you want to add?
No, I think I agree with all 3 of these names. I think you will do really well as well. So I think this is.
Aw, thanks.
And I would probably go with that. And for prediction, I'm also predicting BS to win, just like in the prediction. For me, they're the clear favorite in that division overall.
Yeah, I would have to agree. Yeah, I'd take those guys too. All right. Before we move on to the next division, I think we're gonna take a quick little water break. So we'll be right back in a couple of minutes. We'll have some new casters in as well. So yeah, we'll be right back.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are back from our short hydration break, quote unquote. Some more World Cup references, of course, but we are back from our short break, and we are going to introduce Division 8. And I think myself, hold up. Myself and Neemsy are going to be doing D8 to D4, so 5 divisions for you guys, for us as a duo. So starting off with D8 here, we've got Zinc as the bottom most predicted team. My personal prediction for Zinc, I think was 4th, but I think 6 is not too bad of a community pick either. They're not, I wouldn't say they're super strong, but they do have a couple of good runners here. A couple players that come to mind are Cal, S15, and I think those are like the 2 kind of carries for them. Otherwise, they do see a little bit of a drop off. You see some other players like Zoan, Xavier, Jawshi, Jawshy, that can come in, Crystallized Mage. But I do think that top 2 kind of clears the next kind of bottom 2 in the skill level. And in this day and age, I think you kind of need like 4 or at the very least 3 really good runners and like 1 Schlager at the very least.
Yeah,
but
I think.
what do you think about this?
I think for Zinc, I know they wanted to be D9. There was the whole like thing with the challenge about them. They pretty much wanted to be D9, but board did not grant them that. So then now they are stuck in D8. I mean, honestly, I agree with them being seeded last. Don't sleep on Eston. Does pretty well. Wars, I will say, is a pretty good mid-pack player. Very annoying to play against in a good way. But yeah, I mean, not much about him. Don't know.
Yeah, I mean, looking at them again,
it feels like
looking at them again, I would put them in. I would predict them in 5th. I personally had Broken Windows in 6th, but it's close between them, in my eyes. But again, it's pretty much this. The TLDR of it is 2 really good runners and then 2 runners in the back that can schlag like Wars. But I think in terms of frontal presence, it's really just Cal and Estan in my eyes.
Yeah, I agree.
And then bagging situation, they got Dino, very good, very solid runner, or bagger rather. And
Dino is.
I don't know who else.
He's picked up bagging very recently as well. But from scrims I've seen he's done very well.
No, Dino bagged way back in the day too in MKPS. I could have sworn he did bag back in the day too. Yeah, he has experience. I think he'll be good for them. Okay,
well, moving on, we got Broken Windows Theory. Very small roster. They are running a roster of Kauja, Dots, DR or Akira, Echo, Leda, Lunapolar, and then their baggers are Ops and Swig. Very small roster. As we know, Akira and Leda are CT players, and Dots is a CT main as well, but has run in CY2 for a few seasons prior to this. Yeah. And Kauja as well has been running RTs for a while. It's a very similar roster to Snail of the Year, who are D2 CTC right now. What are your thoughts, Jaggy, on this team?
Before I get into my thoughts, sorry, I didn't really introduce everybody. So yeah, I think we should introduce all the players. So yeah, I did miss out on Zinc. So we got a couple other players I didn't mention. Haroon, Lucky7, MDS Plays. Those 3 I didn't mention, but yeah. So for this particular roster here for Broken Windows Theory, like you mentioned, very tight knit, very small. I do think that Dots is going to be one of their better players. I think, experience in the mid-div with CY2 for a couple seasons. He played with Slay even for like a lower mid-div team in the finals against GAMP 2, I believe. Or no, GAMP 3 rather, but GAMP 3 won that division, I think maybe three seasons ago, roughly. But yeah, I think Dots would definitely be one of the players to look at for Broken Windows Theory. Luna Polar has a lot of experience. I don't know that much about Luna Polar, but I've seen his name around in past few years. So I think maybe he'd be good for them. Otherwise, I mean, Kauja also a lot of experience with lower divs and fib teams. I don't really know that much about Droid Murray though. I don't really know it. Actually, I don't know anything about him. If you have any, he
hit CT Master last season. He is doing very well in D2 CTC right now, making that transition over to RTs. I'm very interested to see how we do. So,
yeah,
same with Leda as well. Leda's very good on CTs.
Dots, Lunapolar, Kauja, Dromedary. I think as a 4. You know, that's not too bad actually. I wasn't really familiar with Dromedary's game getting CT Master. I think it would translate well into RTs. I think maybe not. Obviously, CTs to RTs doesn't translate nearly as well as RTs to. Actually, other way around. No, I think you can translate CTs to RTs because RTs you have a shorter pool of tracks, and I think he can work his way in. So maybe I do think them over Zinc.
Yeah, CT teams normally have not the greatest of starts, but then as the season goes on, they seem to get a little bit better. I personally think this with SN and D11 as well. Like they're just gonna get better as the season goes on, and they learn the tracks and they learn shot calls and IGL and all that. So it is a sleeper team.
And then bagging wise, I mean, M1 and Swig. I mean, 2 high div reg players that can really translate their skills into bagging. And I think Swig has I think he's ran more than he's bagged, but I do like this for the bagging situation. I think they could pick it up. Those 2 players can easily pick up bagging.
Easily.
Yeah, I think 5th. Yeah, I think bottom is not too bad. I initially had them bottom, but I'm like, I'm looking at this team more.
It is pretty close though.
I
mean, it's only like a 0.5-ish difference between 5 and 2 in this div.
Yeah, I mean, if you want to look at the next team, Comet, I'm excited to talk about this team. I've played with this core.
Those are my boys.
Now. I played with this core for a few weeks now in ZZZ. It's basically this roster. ZZZ is basically this roster minus Blitzu. Or no, Blitzu is in there, I think, but plus me. It's 64's clan. I know, but he's also in ZZZ. So I'm excited to talk about these guys. I think they're very underrated. I think seeding fourth to third. I think they're like getting fringe playoff contention. I think is fair for them. I wouldn't rank them higher over VF, but I would personally rate them over Sylvanite, and I'll get to that once I talk about Sylvanite. But I do think these guys are very underrated, and I'm very excited to see Cirxley coming back for a long time. I think he was banned, right?
He's banned in Lounge. He was in OS's bench for 4 seasons, so he's got the 4 banners. But he played like 2 or 3 matches, but he's been scrimming a lot recently. He's very good. He's just sometimes he doesn't like to win.
Well, we'll see how he does. I do think there's a one thing that Comet has for them. I do think they have a very small skill gap. I mean, most of these players can play. You got I think starting lineup probably in my eyes. Don't quote me on it. It might not be, but in my personal opinion, for best lineup would be Cirxley, Chris, maybe not Chris, Cirxley, Aaron, Nihil, and either Friendy or Chris.
Yeah, I agree.
And then Blitzu bag.
Yeah. Rin is also a good bagger as well. Like they're another sleeper team. You might not know them, especially Aaron. If you don't know Aaron, Aaron's very good. Aaron was a Retro Ruan main for a while. Has come over to
Aaron held her own. Aaron held her own a lot in the front when I played with ZZZ. And I think Aaron's a decent runner and very good for DA.
They did play against VF, I think it was yesterday. They lost by 30, but they had a lot of DCs, so they had the pen for DCs. They would have gotten the bonus points, so they kept it very close.
Right.
They've been scrimming a lot.
And if you want to look at ZZZ, he had he had 6-4 injuries. We had Aaron who dropped 120. It was against Berserk. ZZ beat Berserk, and then they also beat Butterfly, where Aaron scored 141. So again, Aaron, super solid runner for DA.
Yeah. Moving on to the next team, we have SV, Sylvanite. Actually tied with Comet. I didn't even notice that.
Okay.
They are running Azuki, Davs, and Gwyn, Jas, KA bagging, Lachlan, Lemmy, Michael H, OJ, Rocky, Rogue, Super UK, Val, and Vortex. I'm not too familiar with most of SV. I'm just a newer player, so I guess.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Go
ahead. That's all you.
So 15 players to start with. 15 players. Very filled out roster. They have a couple of old time players. You got Lachlan, Raichi in there. Raichi's not gonna play, but I mean, old 40R days. Let's see, Davs. Gwyn is not an old player, but not a new player either. Has a bit of experience. Jas has some. He's definitely. Jas is going to be starting lineup. It's probably going to be Jas, OJ,
Val,
Lachlan. Yeah, Lackland probably. I mean, this is also kind of similar to Comet in terms of the skill gap. Not too much skill gap amongst their players, aside from like the obviously they have 15 players. I'm talking about like their best 6 or 7 players. Not much skill gap there, but I think bagging they're also looking good though. KA is bagging for them. Michael H is bagging for them. KA has a lot of bagging experience. I think he's going to be starting for them.
Yeah, I agree.
I personally, again, I had comment just over them because I think that they're on the up and up. I think they're very underrated. But Sylvanite could push. I think they are decent too.
I also think Wish or Jas has a very good chance of MVPing the div.
Okay. Yeah. That's a fair shot.
Yeah, I think he could do very well.
Yeah, Gwyn probably could sneak into the starting lineup as well, I think. But I think for Sylvan, I would probably like for the lineups that they usually would run in the past, would like OJ, Jas, definitely those top 2.
Yeah. Moving on, we got Vibe Freaks. We have Ari, Dwayne, Masako, Jamo, Jack, Lunarix, MK Realm, Mystique, Nico, Ryder, Sawyer, SCT8, Sherm, Susio Rap, and Trevor bagging.
Susio Rap, 4 syllables. D7 or D8 MVP contender easily. That's the first thing I got to say about Vibe Freaks.
Yeah, they were challenged out of D7. They were D7 originally, and then Ascent beat them. Honestly, no surprise there. But Susio Rap is the star of this team. Very good for D8, very notably fast. Yeah, I mean, if he could just get in first, he will stay in first unless he gets blued. And then the rest of the team...
I would be remiss. Go ahead.
Yeah. So the rest of the team...
I would be remiss not to talk about the other players, too.
Yeah. Go ahead.
Ari's pretty good. JCK is pretty good. He has a lot of experience with MV. Not a lot, but he's played in MV in the past. Not in league settings, but he's been very active for Megavolt, if you remember that team a couple years back. He's decent. I actually played against VF a couple days ago. He got a nasty trick snipe on me on TF on the last boost panel ramp. He knows what he's doing. He's good. I'd say a core 4 of Susirap, Ari, JCK, and Sawyer 7 and or Jamo. I think that's a decent core 4. Now Jamo would probably be making a lot of mid-pack plays and stuff. I would see Jamo, scoring every now and again, but I think Jamo would be more the glue that would hold them together. But that core 3, who have Ari, JCK, and Susirap, is so good for D8.
Yeah, and then Mystique and Trevor bagging should definitely go well. I know we got to move on.
Trevor and Mystique, is he full clause?
Mystique is bag claused.
Oh, okay. Maybe I have the old roster then.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So moving on, we got number 1 team. This is the highest average placement I've seen. We have Gamp Brexit, which is running a roster of Aura, Durag, George, Rodeo. Yeah, Logan, Renterar, Ryan British, and Toad, and their baggers are Arvo and Eric. Gamped, very well known. Ryan British for D8 is absurd.
It's ridiculous.
The rest of the team, they just have insane chemistry. They've been playing for years now. They know each other so well.
Oh yeah, no, 100%. Chem goes so far in MKWii, but especially in recent days, right? The skill level is the skill gap is definitely or not skill gap, but like the importance of skill and mechanical stuff is more important nowadays than ever. But also chemistry. I think chemistry matters a little bit more than mechanics, because you can have as many players that are good mechanically but don't have good chem. They don't organize double back spams well. They team kill each other. Gamp 2 has so much chemistry, but also the power to back it up. I have Ryan British as my MVP, but you also have a couple strong runners. You have Derek. You have Logan, and then probably who are their 4th beat? Rizzy G, maybe George.
Yeah, I mean, sure. Anyone, to be honest. I think they'll be fine.
Yeah, and then Arvo bagging. Oh, Giorgio too. They have Giorgio running. Okay. They have
Yeah.
Arvo bagging, very decent bagger. Eric bagging as well. I personally would rate Eric as a slightly better bagger than he is a runner. So I mean that's also good good depth for Eric as well.
Yeah. Let's move on to the MVP predictions.
Ryan British.
Yep, Ryan British, 18 times predicted MVP.
Yeah.
Susurep has 4 and Aaron is 2. This is absolutely no surprise.
No shock.
we-
No shock to me at all.
Yeah, Ryan British.
Oh,
for
so
D8.
when picking MVP, okay, important distinction to make when predicting MVP. I think one very important thing to look at when predicting MVPs is whether or not you can soak up points out of your team. Like for example, I had Pam as a potential candidate for D2 because of the fact that he doesn't have as much. He has Pam and Chi. It's the Pam and Chi show, right?
Right.
But for this, for me, it's either two things. One, can you soak up the points for your team? Or two, is your team so good in all aspects, ticking all the boxes, that it's just you're gonna get points anyway. And I think Gam ticks all the boxes. Very good runners, very strong chemistry, good bagging, and I think they're just gonna be so strong all together that it doesn't matter who's gonna soak up all the points. I mean, I think it's gonna be British anyway.
Yeah, I agree. I think it will be him. They have a good bagging situation. It's always important for an MVP race. But Susurep, I will say, like, I wouldn't be surprised if he's in the 37 range. To be honest.
Yeah,
Like-
I wouldn't be shocked either. I mean, those are pretty much the two runaway candidates. Shall we move on to D7 though? I don't want to. I don't think too much about I don't because we got 4 more divs ahead of us rather. So let's get to it.
All right, so our first
we got
team in
Night Court.
D7. Go ahead.
No, you go ahead. I'm pulling up roster still.
Okay, so we got Nightcore right now in last, running a roster of Exo, Fami, Pani, Javs, Leody, Sharp, Silas, and Yoki, with their bag clauses being Freeze and Spade. Very strong name that I see is Leody. Every time I scrim against NC, Leody always does very well. Very respectable player. He's been grinding, playing a lot of lounge, playing a lot of scrims, specifically with NC, doing very well.
Yeah.
Hani, I don't know, hasn't played with them a lot. Javs hasn't played with them a lot. I know they are always like talking to each other in chats. I don't know how much they've actually played together though.
This team too, I'm not sure because I know Leody slots in a lot of like NC1 lineups. I think.
Yeah.
I don't know what the decision is to have Leody team 2. I think it's a good decision to have at least one strong player if you're making 2 teams. Like I have 2 teams. I made sure to put Zex's team 2, for example. I'll get to that one. Or
Right.
you guys already talked about MS2, but I think it's important to have at least one frontal presence player. And I think he's definitely going to be the one that's always going to keep him in contention no matter what. You say you know that much about Hani. I think I've seen when I used to play Lounge. I've seen Hani in Lounge a lot. I think
Hani did well
What I'm
last
talking
season
about.
as well. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, you.
I would expect Hani to have enough wherewithal to stay in the front as well. I've seen Jobs' name around. I don't know that much about him, but I think he would be starting lineup mostly. I don't know how good he is skill wise. Who would be their 4th if anybody? Sharp.
Exo, Sharp is such a horrible time. He lives in the Philippines. The time is just
Exo's
not
in
on
there?
his side. Yeah, Exo's in there as well.
Okay,
Yeah.
EXO would definitely be their 4th.
Or Javs. Javs is a good shout.
No, I did mention Jabs. Yeah, so it'd be EXO
Okay.
Jabs probably. I don't know if they're gonna have the strength to push. I mean, if I want to see the teams ahead of them. Okay, Ascent, Michaelos. I think Michaelos are a little. Well, 4th is. I should say they're underseeded or under predicted because the top 3 is pretty decent. But I think if there's any dark horse in this div, it'd probably be Michaelos. So I don't really see Nightcore pushing, so I can see why they're predicted last. But
Yeah.
I can see them getting a couple wins. I don't think it's not going to be an 0-10 for sure. Looking at
for sure.
this lineup, this roster, I don't think this is 0-10. I think they have the capability of winning a few matches. but I think it'll be
Yeah.
very tough for them.
Yeah. Moving on, we have our 5th team, Ascent. I'm gonna be a little biased here. They're running a roster of Blitzu, Danny, Ismail, Kizo, Sam G, Squirrel, and Swim, with their bag clauses being Abby and Sparkster. This team was originally seeded as D8. They beat VF to get into D7. It's a kind of a Lotus and OS mix. Blitzu is probably their best player. If you've played with Blitzu, you know he has very good comms, very good IGL. This is just a very well-rounded team. Like, any of these guys can play, and it wouldn't be too detrimental to them. They're actually playing right now.
Ooh,
I don't know who
okay.
they're playing against. Let's see. They're playing at CY. They're down by 7 after 7. So, yeah, you got anything to
is
say
it their
about
first match?
Ascent? It is their first match, yes.
I do think that Ascent are decent. I wouldn't put them as dark horses over Mikelos, but I think that I wouldn't count them out for making playoffs. I think Nightcore are the only team in this div, in my eyes, that don't have a realistic shot of making playoffs. They could prove me wrong, though. But I think Ascent have a chance. I think they have good chem. Chemistry is very important, and I think they have that in the bag. Squirrel, I saw a couple people putting Squirrel in their fantasies. I think it'd be a good run, good runner for them.
Yeah.
Blitzu, good runner, good experience with OS. I think he has good game sense. With that experience with OS, I think he will know what he's doing. Ismail and Sam G as the other runners. I love Sam G. I'm not sure how he do. I don't rate him super highly.
Yeah.
I do think he's decent, but I'm not gonna see Sam G dropping 100 every war. But I think chemistry-wise, he could probably make some good plays. I think he's a good playmaker. I've played against him a couple times. But I think maybe Ascent just lack a little bit in overall overwhelming running power that we might be seeing in
I agree.
the top 2 teams, which we'll get to.
I was just about to bring that up. I think Ascent's one glaring issue is their frontal presence. They have a lot of good mid-pack players, but they're going to be very shock reliant. They do have good baggers in Abby and Sparkster. They have two very good options, but I think they'll get outrun by some of these teams in the div that we'll get to.
I would have to agree. I would have to agree, yes.
Moving on to our 4th team, we have Mikelos, or Helia's team. They're running Agar, Helia, Nicholas, Pantrick, Swimp, Vinstra, or Kostya, and Yuno, with their bag clauses being Jaker and Javo.
I will say before I get into Mikelos, the butterfly effect is real. So I had Vinstra, and so Huya is not playing for them. I thought maybe he might have been. There's a bit of a butterfly effect. I had Vinstra. He was an old Medusa's player. I'm not gonna say why. I don't want to start drama. He's not a part of MS anymore, but him and Helia branched off MS because Helia was in it too. They branched off and they formed this team. And I actually have Vinstra as an MVP candidate. I don't have him as the MVP, but I think a lot of people are underlooking Vinstra. If I want to say a good thing, he's very good. Vinstra's very good, and I'm gonna say that their starting lineup would be Vinstra, SA/Helia/EQ, and then Swemp or Agar as their 4th. And then they also have Nicholas too. They have good depth. I think that this team can make a push. And they also have Jaker and Javo bagging. Jaker is a good bagger. He's picked it up, when he wants to. He's not as bagging every season, but when he picks up bagging when he wants to, he can bag. He bags well. I don't know as much about Javo bagging. I just know him as a runner. But I have this team as the D7 dark horse. I think they're very good.
Okay, I don't know too much about them, to be honest. Never really played against them.
Vinstra, you probably don't know Vinstra. Luca V, he's been playing since 2016, 2017. Very good player. I think people are underlooking him. I think he'll drop. There will be some wars. He'll drop 100 plus. And I could also see, Helia doing well. Might be sneaking in there too. Him and Helia are very good friends, very good chem. So I could definitely see them chem wise as well being very good. So I actually didn't really look too much into CY2. And I'm going to switch over to CY2 to see who I would personally have, because I forgot who I predicted. Did I predict CY2 or Michael? Because I predicted Michaelos to win the div.
Oh wow!
I remember now. I put them to win the div in the prediction stream, in the predictions thing form. But looking at CY2, transitioning now. Nova, their starting lineup would be Poison. He's coming back for sure. Poison, Kaden, Zen, Nova, and Clydebag. And then you have Evan TX, you have Cynical, who can come in and
very small roster.
Small roster, but very tight knit. These guys are very close.
Yeah.
And I obviously played with CY2 in the past. I played with CY1. And I could tell you these guys are very close, very tight knit. Even though there are 3 teams, right? It might seem like, oh, they have 3 teams, they're just throwing whatever. No. CY2, very tight knit, very close. And they play a lot of other games. They play code names, they play, a couple other games. Like Friend Group, these guys are very, very good. Chemistry wise, very good. Poison coming back is so big for CY2.
Yeah.
It's so big. They definitely missed out last season on Poison because he didn't play.
Yeah, I always thought that Poison should have honestly been on CY1, but I see why he's on CY2. Like you said, you need that really, that one strong player. Poison always puts up good numbers. When he was D8, D6. I know he didn't play last season, but he drops numbers pretty well. CY2, I've seen Zen play recently. I haven't seen Nova play in a while. Kaden, obviously, he's like the glue of that team. Always in the mid pack.
Yeah, Kaden's improved so much. I gotta give my flowers to Kaden. He's improved so much. It's not even funny. He's been playing, for a few years now, but I don't know what happened. I don't know. He probably ate a sensu bean or something, or he ate Popeye spinach or something. He's improved so much in so little time, and he's easily gonna back up Poison. So
okay.
I can definitely see this team as playoff contentions, and I think they have, rightfully so, have a place in third.
Okay, yeah. And then for the baggers, Clyde's just gonna bag 10 out of 10.
Yeah, let's switch. Yeah, we're getting a tag. We gotta speed it up a little bit. So, let's go to BT, and I think I had them 4th, but I think they're good too. It really depends on their lineup, right? Because they got Big Pork Claws, Hydreigon, Manuel, Spencer, Wooms, Zale, Z Cubed, and then Ghost and Schultz back. I want to have you start off. What do you think about BT?
Right off the bat, I think Klaus is very strong for D7. Honestly, when I played BT last season in D5, I was pretty scared of Klaus, not gonna lie. He's very good. He's also very, notably laggy. So his interactions will be very questionable. Yeah. And then Spencer or Sasak, he didn't play last season, but now I would assume he's playing.
Back.
Do pretty well. Schultz as well. They also have very good chemistry.
Yeah, I think Sasak's good. They have chemistry is very good. So I have Klaus as their far and away best player running. And then I think the reason why I predicted them 4th, but they could sneak playoffs, is maybe a similar situation to Ascent. I think they're stronger runners than Ascent, but I think they still lack maybe 12 out of 12 races frontal presence.
Yes.
I'm not sure though. I think they have very good chemistry though.
I also think they have the best bagger in the div in Ghost.
Ghost is so good. Yeah, you're right.
Ghost has bagged high div before. He bags high div scrims all the time. He's going to be very strong for D7.
Yeah. So their starting lineup will probably be Klaus, Sasek, Big Pork, and then Zale or Z Cubed.
Yeah.
Okay. But yeah, I think second might be a little high for them. I think third would be good for. I think maybe CY2 over them because of the improvement of Caden. But we'll see.
Right. Very close. And then moving on, our last team. Oh, no surprise in my opinion. For D7 is Faceless. Did they play? I'm pretty confident they played.
They lost D6. They lost D6 quals.
Okay.
Yeah, they lost against Starfall Altair.
Okay. So their roster is Azure, Joshibo, Closhi, Lily UK, Nissan, Francis, Ruari, SJ, and Toddy. Very well-rounded roster.
Very good roster.
Toddy
yeah,
and
I don't
Ruari.
have.
Go ahead.
I don't have Michaelos winning the div. I don't. I didn't do it. I think my predictions were kind of like a little rushed.
Yeah.
But Faceless is so good.
Yeah, they have a two-headed monster in Toddy and Ruari. Joshibo is a very good IGL to have. And then honestly, like, you can slot in any one of their other runners. Azure would probably be their fourth, but Nissan is good as well. Closhi's good as well. Like, they have depth, and they have very strong runners at the top, which you just don't see in a D7 team pretty often. Delhi is their one bag clause. They might have another like full clause player. Maybe Francis might bag as well.
Yeah.
Very strong team for D7.
Or.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, Ruari, you said it yourself, the two-headed monster Ruari and Toddy is so ridiculous. Probably one of the best duos of any of these divs, probably. And then, like you mentioned, Closhi can back him up. You said Nissan can back him up, or was that SJ?
I said Nissan could be a fourth runner as well.
Nissan could be. Azure's not bad either. I have played with Azure.
Azure would probably be their main choice of a fourth, but it's very close. They have very good options.
Yeah, I play with Azure and MS. He's not bad as a runner. And I think rightfully so. I have this team winning D2. I have Michaelos getting second, and then I have CY2 getting third.
Yeah.
And then
let's move on over.
MVP here, overall MVP. Forgot. I have Toddy.
Yeah, Toddy is far and away the favorite. Honestly, best team in div. I do think Ruari also has a solid chance. He's a very good player. One name I do see on here that I could think would be very much possible is Poison.
Somebody made a meme. I think somebody like joked to me something about how like, oh, Ruari plays too much retro rewind, that's why they lost the challenge. But I mean, he's still really good. But that was just a meme I thought I gotta bring up.
Yeah, I mean, Ruari very good. Keep an eye out for Poison. Keep an eye out for Leote as well. I think because of NC's weaker core for D7, Leote could just stack up all the points.
I don't think NC are good enough of a team for Leote to score that well 12 for 12 though. So like
he could.
I don't know.
He could do it. He scores in scrims pretty well. He's a sleeper for sure. And you got that
lone agger pick, yeah. All right, let's go. D6. Okay, D6. This is I got a lot of insight on this div. Granted that I have a team in this div, that being Magistas. Okay, Dermo, if you're watching this, do not take offense to what I'm about to say. I think Slow is actually the weakest team in the div. I mean it. I'm not saying that because we have a rivalry. I genuinely mean I think they're the weakest team in the div. Granted, they won last season D6. Very good. Very impressive. Yeah. They had a very good roster for D6. They won D6. There was a little bit of controversy there because they were wondering why they weren't being seeded higher because they won the div, right? But they lost Alpha. For one, they lost Alpha. He went to Jopsy Battery. And I think that the top 6 divs have gotten stronger this season. Like, genuinely have gotten stronger. This D6 is far and away better than last D6.
Yeah. Reading off the roster, we got Boshi, Brigid, Callum, Dermo, Flavian, Jose, Indy, J Mersey, Jack, LaBelle, Leon, Mephisto, Rin, and Trevor, and Wilm. A lot of people. Very, very big roster.
Very
Boshi,
large.
In my opinion, is their star player. Very
100%.
strong CT player. Just a very strong player in general, whether it's RT bagging, running, CT bagging and running, like, very strong.
I personally put Slow over Jamos Card Trials. I'm gonna say that right now. I don't have them last. Starfall Altair, I'm not sure if they beat Starfall Altair, but I don't think they're last. But I don't think they make playoffs either. Like you
Honestly, I
mentioned,
think the divs it's going to be competitive. I mean, look how close the gaps are.
it'll be competitive. Yeah, it'll be competitive. But I do personally have Boshi as their main man. And Mephisto's very decent as well. Dermo has improved quite a bit. I think he's no longer that like punching bag that people used to like. People used to be like, oh, like he's a good leader, a very passionate, albeit sometimes annoying leader person, but he's a great leader. I played with him in CY. He's very passionate, very driven, and he has improved a lot, mechanically. So I do expect Dermo to be the glue that holds them together, and I don't think they get last, but I don't think they make playoffs either.
Yep, moving on. Our next team is JMO's Kart Trials. Basically, Lotus. They're running out a roster of Draggy, Gilfar, Hari, Lord, Matt W, Song, Star, Supra, and their bag clauses are Frix and Jace. This team's kind of fun. I'm not gonna lie, very fun. I do like all the players that are here. I think they can run a lineup of any one of their runners, and they can be just fine. Matt W is kind of a sleeper MVP pick. We don't know how it's going to be, though, because he is Australian and it's a European team.
I'm so not looking forward to having to. I mean, granted, I do have Leon who's JPN, I do have Soda who's UU, but I'm not looking forward to the other teams. They're going to be perma 11 a.m. Eastern time, 11:30 a.m. Eastern time. Who can?
Yeah.
But as a team, though, I like I said, I put Slow over them. I think chemistry-wise they'll be good. I think they lack in the running power a little bit. I mean, their star man be, if anybody.
I would say it'd be Matt W. Hari, I feel like I've never seen Hari score bad, to be honest, in anything, War or Mogi. So.
Yeah, I mean, Supra's decent. I mean, I think they have decent. I mentioned some other teams that have a low skill gap between the runners. I just don't know who would be like their overwhelming frontal presence, if anybody.
Yeah,
maybe Matt W.
I think it would be Matt W. It would easily. Lord has also improved. Shout out to Lord.
I think Star's good mechanics. I think he's good game sense. I think he'd be good too. I think him and Matt are good two frontal too. I think Draghi has a lot of experience as well, a lot of mid div experience. I think they're decent as a team, but I just I don't see them pushing playoffs.
Yeah,
and I think their bagging situation is a little as well.
Yeah, I agree. Moving on to Starfall Altair. This is kind of LV2-ish, with AT, Bryant, Callum, CC, Festic, Foster, Kenny, Mars, Merp, and their baggers are Mike and Callie. They did win the qualifier. They were D7. They won the D6 qualifier against Faceless. I would imagine their main LU is something like AT, Callum, CC, and Merp. But, I mean, Kenny and Festic are also very good runners in their own right. This team is very well-rounded. I just don't know if
Very well-rounded.
I really don't think they have the true, like, frontal presence running power to be able to keep up with everyone.
This is kind of like Jama's Kart Trials too, where they have, they have good depth and they have little skill gap, but I mean, they do have a couple decent runners. I think CC is underrated. I'm not sure if CC is going to be far away their best player, but CC is underrated, and I think CC is she has come back to the community for. I haven't seen her very often, but I think she's good. She's a good, strong player. You also saw online playing for them in their qualifying win. I don't see him in the roster that I have right now. But online's good. Merp is decent. Yeah. Callum, yeah, okay. AT is very good. He was one of CY2's bright lights last season.
Yeah.
I think they're decent. I think No, I think they do have some good running power. If you were to combat you a little bit. Bagging situation, Mike bag. That's MAIK, right?
No, it's like JX,
KG
KG,
Mike. No.
Mike. Yeah.
Yeah. That's MAIK. It used to go by Mike,
Okay.
MAIK. Yeah.
Okay.
JX Mike.
Okay.
Um,
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think their roster's well rounded. They have good bagging situation, and I could see them pushing for playoffs. I mean, if you want to compare them, you're going to compare them to RS because they are the third predicted team. I think I put Starfire Altair in the predictions over RS, and I'll get into that in a little bit. So if you want to transition, we got RS.
Yep.
We got Cody, Danny G, Erupt, Goofy, Gray, Jamie, J-Y-M-E, Jazz, Jiro, longtime player, Layla, MKWii, Robert, Skyleaf, Sparks, and Stripe. So right away, their first four. Stripe, Erupt, Skyleaf, Layla, or maybe Robert. I think that this is just one of those scenarios where their top two runners are very good in Stripe and Erupt, and then I don't think they have a lot of good depth behind them. They have a lot of depth, but in terms of strong depth, I'm not sure.
Yeah, I mean, it's really hard to have strong depth. I know we did skip all the way to first. We will talk about the other teams. Don't worry about that.
Yeah. Oh, RS is predicted first?
Yeah, you kind of skipped over two teams, but it's okay. It's okay.
Sorry.
Let's just finish RS and then we'll move on to the other two. I agree. I don't really see this team is just like well-rounded. They just don't have like. I mean, they have Stripe. Stripe is very good.
Chem-wise, ridiculously good. I will say Stripe and Erupt are going to be so dangerous. They are so dangerous. I don't know if they have enough to win the div. I think they have good enough to win playoffs. And I could be biased because I think I personally have MS winning the div. I'm not saying that because I'm biased. I'm saying that because I think that we're just really well oiled. We beat WZ2 twice today by destructive margins. But RS can very, very easily make playoffs, and I think they are fringe div winners. But it's a Stripe Erupt duo is so dangerous. But I mean, they do have, if I want to talk about their depth, right? They can have Skyleaf has a lot of experience with them, and a lot of experience in general. Been around the game since 2016, back when Skyleaf was known as Skitty. I think Layla's not too bad either. I do think that they have the depth and not the strength depth in 3, 4, 5, 6 runners, but I do think they have very good chemistry, very dangerous playmakers, and I'm not surprised why people predicted them first. And they have a very good bagger. I mean, Derek bagging is ridiculously good, so they're gonna get a lot of shocks.
Yeah. Let's move on. Let's go to WZ since they were skipped over. This is WZ2. But the first team is only a div above them. We have Anx, Broly, Calvin, Iric, Haller, Merc, Smash, Spec, Tommy, and their bag clauses are Knee and TK.
Knee and TK, yeah.
WZ, I mean, awesome team. Very fun. They like to troll with their track picks, as we know. They do have the reigning D6 MVP in Smash. Smash is very good for his div. Just a very good player in general.
Smash, some people predict them MVP. I think I had who did I have as? I'm not sure, but I think I had him definitely in the top 3 contender. So WZ2, the roster is decent. I think this is probably one of the biggest disparities in the top 2, bottom 2 that I mentioned. I mentioned RS has a bit of a disparity there with Stripe Erupt versus the rest. I think there's a much bigger, not much, but a decent amount bigger disparity between Smash and Spec with the other runners. The other runners have a lot of history, a lot of experience, right? But they just kind of lack. Tommy's kind of come back lately. He struggled quite a bit against Magistas today. I think there were a lot of moments where he was in a top spot and he lost a top spot. But Tommy's a lot of experience, but I think he struggled a little bit. I think he'll work his way back. I have faith in Tommy personally. To do better as the season progresses. I think he's decent. He'd be a decent third player. But then behind him, you have like Anks, I think Howler, more players that have experience but really wouldn't like make a dent, I don't think. And I think WZ really struggled today. I think it was the rust mainly, but also Magistas just having ridiculously good chemistry. I think those are kind of the difference makers.
I do think WZ, like over the course of the season, like their chem will show.
I think
like
they'll be
might
fine.
win
I think
matches that you don't think they will
long
be.
term.
Yeah.
Long term, they'll be fine, but they already are. They already have a mountain to climb. They're 0-2, so we'll see how they shake that off.
Yeah,
I easily would have predicted WZ top 3, but since they lost twice today, it might be like, oh, they might get 4th now, but we'll see.
Yeah, you want to talk about your team, Magistas?
You can talk about them if you want for a moment. I'll hold my breath because I don't want to be too biased.
I'll go a little quick. Magistas, their roster looking like 6'4", Bubble, Fernandez, got Jaggy, how do you pronounce his name? Leon?
Leon, just Leon.
Leon, it's just Leon. Okay, and
or
then Soda.
Leon, but Leon, yeah.
Okay,
Soda.
and then their bad clauses are Hype and Casper US. I think this is the strongest team in the div. A lineup that consists of 6'4" and Fernandez and Soda. No matter who runs the fourth runner, I think will be very strong. And then Hype and Casper US bagging is very.
I'm gonna be.
good.
I will be probably. I'm gonna say 7 to 8 out of 10. I'm not gonna be 10 out of 10. I don't think. I could definitely see a couple times where it could be Leon and Soda, but I think I might be close to 10 out of 10 mainly because of time zones. Like Leon can only play late NA nights or like really early mornings, which we can't do, and Soda will not play NA nights. So I could probably see myself being 10 out of 10. But also, if Fernandez and 64, 10 out of 10 for sure. 64 is ridiculously freaking talented. It's not even funny. Like his frontal presence is ridiculous. He keeps his frontal presence. Fernandez hasn't played a game since October. He played one war and played decent, and then he just styled on WZ today. Like he's easily one of the top 5 players as well. And I think chemistry we have so much chemistry from MB, and Soda has fit like a glove, like chemistry wise. He's such a good IQ player. He works around certain scenarios pretty well. Like I might not see Soda in the front like all the time, but he knows what he's doing at any spot that he's at. And I think that this team has showed so much chemistry against WZ that I think that it's going to be so good. I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah.
And I think I pride myself in not always being in the front, but being a very good playmaker and Schlager. Like people are, when they play around me with triple reds or bombs, watch out. But yeah, I don't want to talk too much. That's all I have to say. And that's every team.
Yeah, let's move over to our MVP predictions. Wow. Matt W getting his flowers.
That's a surprise too. Yeah.
Yeah, we got Matt.
I thought Smash would be the overwhelming favorite.
I thought he would be as well. Honestly, every single team has one guy that I legit think can MVP. Like I think 64 or Fernandez are like sleepers. I think Boshi is a sleeper, as well as these other 3 are very obvious. Every team has a very strong player that could MVP.
Yeah, Smash I had as my personal. Matt could do it. Stripe could do it. 6'4" could do it. MVP this season is hard, man. But
Erupt could do it.
It's hard. Erupt could do it. Yeah, there's so many good players in this div. But I think if you were to narrow down your MVP, it would have to be for a team that's going to win the div. So I would probably narrow it down to 6'4" Fernandez, Stripe Erupt, or maybe Smash. It's hard to predict. I personally, I'm not biased. I do think MS have the strength to win D6. I just think that we have so much chemistry with MV. And I think 6'4" has grown so much, has matured so much. He used to tilt a lot, but now he's so calm, so collected, and he's an absolute machine. And Fernandez has always been like a mechanical machine. I think that MV did not win a lot like in the past, but I do think that we're going to be seeing the Twilight Magistas win this div, but I'm biased, of course.
Yeah, For me, I think if Matt plays enough matches, I think I'll predict him to win MVP, and then I think
That's a good
I think
shout.
Stripe is gonna do it
Stripe is so good, man. Stripe is so good. He's so hard to play around him.
because of the
So-
chem. I think
Yeah,
they can,
Chem, but he's such a demon, man. He's better than me a little bit frontal presence, but he's like me in like the demon schlagging role. He's one of, if not the best schlaggers in the game, dude. He's so good. I would have to say he can easily not be MVP, but I would have to say he's going to be one of the most dangerous players in the div overall.
Yeah.
Let's
Next
switch to
div.
the D5 now. Yep.
D5. Honestly, my favorite div in the entire GSC. Like this div is so fun and it's stacked with good players. I'm really excited to talk about it.
I like this div. Yeah.
Yeah. First of all, we have Fib. A lot of Bay players have moved over. So we got Breaker,
Yeah,
Daniel K, Frank, Merrick, Slidair, Soon, Vinny, Cobb, Utopia, and Zur. I don't know how to say his name. And their bad clauses are Jason
Zur.
Y and Matthew. Like, this team is very good. And the fact that they are listed as last in D5 just shows how strong the rest of the div is. Honestly, most of these D5 teams could have played in D3 last season. Like, that's how good I think they are.
Yeah.
I think Fib's strongest player is Dan UK. And Merrick, I mean, this is just very solid. You go ahead.
Yeah, and for those of you saying in chat, I'm glazing my team, I understand why you think that way. I wanted to preface it by saying that I genuinely thought that they're going to win the div, though, because I know my team. But anyway, talk about D5. I'm not going to talk about that anymore. So D5, like you mentioned, this team, Fib, you know, Dan, a lot of people are predicting Dan to MVP, and I think that, I don't know if Dan will MVP because he's going to a new team and it's like new team syndrome, but I do think Dan can definitely contend. I think they have good runners, right? They have Dan, they have they have Breaker, two very strong runners, and Merrick.
I mean,
is
Merrick
good
was
too.
Merrick was Bay's like star player, and then
Yeah,
Dan was
and
very good.
very good.
Y1.
Very good chem as well. With Breaker, and I think that this team being predicted last is, I had Astra last personally. I think I had Fib at 4th. I had Astra, TNG, and Fib 4th. I think this team is very slept on.
Yeah, and then moving over to Astra, we have No Days, Freak, Gabe US, Clover, Sanchez, Sky9, Spade, Venom, and then their bad claws are Xavier and you. Very good D5 team as well. The fact that people are also picking them for last, like with them having Sanchez, with them having Gabe US, who I think they did play yesterday. Spade as well is just a very
What happened in that one?
experienced player.
Oh, it was 1-1. No, I think it was 1-1, right? Gulag won
Something
twice,
like
but it was
that.
very close. No,
Yeah,
Gulag
something
won
like
twice.
that.
Yeah.
Okay. Astra got the bonus point in both though. But I mean, very strong OU. I do think their bad clauses are a little weaker for D5. But they have pretty strong runners in my opinion, and I don't know a ton about all of them. If you want to go ahead.
I mean, Astra's runners are decent. I don't think that any one of them, Sanchez stands out for me. I think Spade also, a lot of experience, and I think last couple seasons got a little better too. But I just think that overall they lack a little bit in 12 out of 12 scenarios. I mean, their starting lineup basically would be Spade, Sky9. Days actually played against Gulag, which is interesting. I didn't have Days. I thought he was gonna be like their first sub, but basically Spade, Sky9, Gabriel, and then Sanchez. But Sanchez, I highly doubt he's gonna be available every game. And then Freak could slide in too. But I think that aside from the starting lineup of Spade, Sky9, Freak, and Gabriel, and Sanchez maybe, I think those are strong 5, but I think maybe just a little bit weak overall for the long run.
Yeah,
and
it just
bagging wise, they're good. They're good though.
Yeah.
Use a decent bagger. Xavier's a lot of experience, but I just don't know. I can't put a finger on it. Like I genuinely can't put a finger on why I don't have Astra too high. But I think it might be because the other teams are really good.
Yeah,
and this div is
I was
so
gonna say
close.
the other teams are just very good. Let's move on to TNG.
Yeah.
They're running a roster of Andres, Brisk, Connor, Dino, Kaizo, Luke, Noah Cove, and Schultz, and their bag clauses are Ice and Star. Very fun team. They have very good chem. Dino has been going insane in scrims. Pretty sure they won a scrim against like Scandinavia or something like very recently. Doing very well. They have good chem. They have a lot of baggers on their roster that are run claws. So they have the IQ to do well in these wars. They've bagged for a lot of good players, so they just naturally soak up all the information they need. I do think this team lacks a little bit of like strong running power in the front, but they are very good with their items, so it'd be interesting to see how they do.
Yeah, TNG, you mentioned it in the very beginning. Their chemistry is off the charts. I mean, these guys have been best. These guys have been like kind of buddy for a long time now, and Andres is so good for this div, and they also have a couple good players. Yeah. Kaizo, a lot of experience with Apocalypse teams in the past, whether it's bagging or running. Dino's good too, running wise. I had them in 4. I mean, I don't remember why, but again, I think it's because this div is so close. Now I have them going over WZ2. Actually, no, WZ1. Never mind. I think I have them in 4th because this div is so close, but they could easily be a dark horse here. Star Bag is really good. Ace has some bagging experience as well. He played in the World Cup. I think he's decent. Luke 3 is not bad either. You don't want to look over him. I think he's good. Probably their 4th man, their 5th man maybe. I think all in all, these guys have good chem. They're decent for the div, but I think with the teams above them, which we can get into, it's kind of difficult for them to break the top 2 mold. I think they can get 3rd though.
I will say Dino is also a dark horse MVP prediction, but
I think that I'll save that definitely. Later. I saw a few people predicting Dino.
Yeah, we have next team. We have Gulag. They have AJ, Don. JJ's never gonna play. Don, James, Jed, Michael H, Prove, Ray, Sufi, and Zach and Y. Another like very good like roster, just depth wise. Like a lot of these guys can play. I know they. Let me look at their recent match. They ran Jed, Sufi, Ray, and Prove with Artie bagging. They also have Alpha bagging. Another like very good roster. Yeah,
I have them winning the div in the predictions. Some people don't trust the depth, right? And I think I've mentioned in the past and in this stream too that in today's day and age in 2026, with how much the skill ceiling has gone up in this game, that you need to have at least 3 good runners. I have Gulag as the exception to that, because I think that their top 2 is so far and away better. I think them and the WZ2 top 2 core of Spec and Smash and D6. This top 2 is so good. Jed, easily MVP candidate for me. You have a couple others, but I had him as MVP. And then Ray is such a good playmaker. He's so good for D5, and he's so much of a nuisance to play around. And I do think that their depth will pick up the pieces, and I think that they will get better. So basically their bottom 2 runners would be Matt and Sufi as their 3rd and 4th respectively, and we saw that against Astra in their 2 matches. I think that Matt is underrated. He's not like he's not like top 5, but he's underrated. I think he's decent. What do you think?
Yeah, I think this team is very experienced and will do very well. I think their baggers are good as well. Although we do need to move on. Gulag, very good team. Moving on to WZ1. We have Bobby, Dylan, Jam, King, Nee, Nathan, Riku, TK, and Wally. And then their bag clauses are Quinn and Tommy. I would imagine Bobby would bag as well. I would assume he's full claused. The thing that stands out,
claused, yeah,
TK running in D5 is just insane.
easily.
Gonna do very well.
Candidate, yeah.
Knee, very good runner. I mean, they have the chem, they have the players to win the div. No, it's not shocking to me that they're listed as second, slightly behind Butterfly, which we'll get into later. What do you think, Jaggy?
Yeah, I think one question that they have is how much are the Unks going to play? You have a couple players like Jam is going to be in the starting lineup, but how well is the Unk Jam going to play? How well is let's see, the Unk Wally going to play? I don't even know if Wally's going to be starting LU, but he used to be in high div like way back before COVID. But yeah, I could definitely see a lineup of Knee's definitely going to play. So TK, Nathan, Knee probably. And I don't know who their fourth would be. It could be Jam, it could be Dylan, it could be Wally. It's just a matter of who derusts, but I had WZ1 rather, as second place for my predictions. It's just a matter of, can they derust in time? We'll see.
Yeah, I will say though, TK will have to do a very hard carry to get this team over the top, but he could definitely do it. Like if there's anyone in this div that can, it would be TK.
Yeah, I agree.
You got anything else?
Tommy, okay, their bagging situation might be tricky. Tommy bagged against me the other day, and he was like not complaining, but he was like, I'm so rusty, like I need to get back into it. Tommy needs to get up to speed. Like I don't think he's D5 quality right now. He's easily gonna be able to get there. I think I have trust in Tommy as a runner and as a bagger. But right now, I don't think he's going to be the starting bagger. It would be Quinn, if anybody. But even Quinn, I don't think he bags all that consistently. I'm not entirely sure. But I think Quinn, very good game sense, former high div game sense. I think he can pick it up.
Also, figuring about Bobby. I mean, Bobby's just going to do like very well. I would assume
Bobby's
he plays. But let's move on. Number one team listed in D5 is Butterfly. They are running a roster of Abby, Blue Sharp, Mpex, Azumi, Johnny, KA, Leah, Roshi, Towner, and their single bag clause is Hari.
Watch out for KA, watch out for Roshi, Kens. Easily.
And Abby as well.
Abby's good too.
They're just a very good team. Like I said before, like they could have, most of the teams in D5 would have been like D3 last season. Just every team is just so strong. This team is like two very strong MVP candidates in my opinion. They have the chemistry. They're always calling with each other. They're very experienced. And even like their bench is good. Like Azumi on their bench, Towner on their bench. I don't know how much Mpex is actually going to play, but they have the two strong frontal players in KA and Abby, and then the rest are just very good mid-pack players. I know them very well, so that's talking a little.
I mean, I think they're very strong. I think they probably have the best depth. I think quality-wise. Yeah. And because obviously WZ2 and Gulag, we mentioned we have a couple strong players in top 2 and 3, and then I think they have such good depth. I mean, I think I had them third, but they can easily win the div because of their depth. The reason why I had them in third is because I thought that WZ players are really good if they derust, but that's if they derust. And Gulag's top 2 is ridiculously good, but they're But I think they could easily place above Gulag though because of their depth and their strength. And I mean, I don't really have much to say about Butterfly aside from they're very strong. I don't know that much about them individually. I just know them as a team. They're very good.
I'm going to go over their bagging situation very quickly. Most of their depth pieces are full claused. Hari's their one bag clause. I don't expect him to bag much. And then Towner's full clause, I think. Roshi, Mpex full claused. Johnny full clause. I would not be surprised if we see any of them. But let's move over to our MVP predictions. Very close. We have KA, TK, and Abby. With KA getting one more vote than TK, this is no surprise. Yeah, I wonder if KA will go 10 for 10. I know he hasn't gone 10 for 10 in any team in a while. I would assume TK would go 10 for 10, and I think Abby would go 10 for 10 as well. So those are good fantasy picks, obviously. But there's a lot of sleeper MVP picks in this div. Like Dino, you have Jed, you have Sanchez. Like you have so many good players.
Yeah. It's hard to predict. Dan, a few people predicted him. I think for me, I had Jed. DK is easily a contender too, though. KA is also very strong. If KA were, in my opinion, if KA were to get MVP over TK, it would be the overall team strength and depth versus overall like better player, because that would go to TK. But KA is also very strong and very good war player. Overall very dangerous.
If I were to pick, I'd go TK. Honestly, I think TK is far and above the rest of the roster, and that's no shade to them. It's just how good TK is. And Abby and KA being there, like they might steal each other's points if that makes sense.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think also, who do you think's gonna win this, Dave? You said Gulag?
I had Gulag, but I could easily see. Basically, my top three are my predictions are all over the map here, but my top three are the top three teams on here. It's just in different order, and then my bottom three teams in here are bottom three but different order.
Yeah. Give me Butterfly to win the div again, and they'll win against Gulag. Okay, let's move on. D4. Here we go. All right. Moving on to D4. The first team is, I'm just gonna call it Sam Legends. We have Dalty, Green, Jay, Kira, KT, Osid, Passing, Sam, and Zap, and their bag clauses are Brody and Slick. Very interesting team, just collection of players. They have good running power at the top, but I do question their depth. Sam's going to do very well. Zap's going to do, like, KT's going to do well. But then I question about their fourth runner. I think they've been running Osid as their fourth. If you don't know Osid, he's a very, like, well-known Fortnite player, converted over to this game. He's been doing well in scrims. I'm pretty sure he's high tier in lounge now. And then their bagging situation, Brody, Slick, like, they should be just fine.
Yeah, hold on, let me take a look at something here. Yeah, I mean, this team
did play.
This team was very tricky for me to predict. Well, in terms of my like pre-seeding, like, you know how a few people like release their seedings before the seedings. I didn't know where to seed this team. But yeah, I mean, probably I talk about like top two disparity with bottom two runners. I've talked about that several times, but this is one of those where it hurts them because every other team in this div has like players that can, because it's obviously higher div, right? Every other team basically has like 4 players that can come to play. In this team, it's more so just Sam and KT, and Zap is not horrible, but not D4 level. It's kind of tricky for them, really, in my eyes.
Yeah, it's just they're very top heavy. Also the last team that Sam had in GSC did drop mid-season, so I'm very interested to see about that. Got really nothing else. I'm gonna move on to NC. They're running a roster of Andy, Flame, Freeze, Frololo, Enwa, Nubbly, Ruben, and their bag clauses are Shura and Lord.
Speaking of bag clauses, one good thing for XE would be Brody bagging. He's so good.
Yeah.
But otherwise, yeah. Go ahead.
So with NC, they were D5 last season. They actually went undefeated in the regular season, then lost to OS in the finals. I would assume they would run a lineup of like Frololol, Ruben, Nubbly, and then the fourth would be like Enlaw, Freeze, Flame. They have players. They have players. Shura and Lord will be just fine bagging in D4. They did play XE, I think it was yesterday, and they did win. Nubbly went insane. Nubbly, shout out to Nubbly, very good player. Honestly, MVP, like dark horse. They're just very solid overall.
Yeah, I mean NC. I think fifth might be a little harsh on them. I don't know about playoffs, but fifth, it is harsh. Yeah, I mean they have Nubbly is very good. Enlaw, obviously, a lot of mid to high div experience in the past. Mostly mid high, not like high, but Enlaw and Nubbly very good too. Ruben is pretty good behind them. Frololo is really good at lounge, like ridiculously good. He did play for JS last season. It was kind of like a French Insta team.
It was.
So
yeah.
let's see how this pans out. How Frollo does with NC specifically, but if he can mesh with this team. And if the team can mesh with Frololo is going to be a huge piece for them.
Yeah. I really got nothing else. I just think they're a very solid team all around. They have good item play, good running power. They're just really good teams in this div. So let's move on to Battery. They have Alpha, CTB, Conquer, Hints, yeah, LT, Mirimeg, Knockney, I think his name, Philip, Scoped, Sprixie, Tay, Throbbin' Bob, and Wob. That's a great name tandem.
That is crazy.
Yeah, they played a match very recently. They ran, I think they lost to EXO. Yeah, they did. I don't really know a lot about this team, to be honest. In my honest opinion. What do you think, Jaggy?
I mean, I know a lot about several of these players. I didn't know where to predict them in those preceding things again.
You just don't know who's going to play.
Battery. Yeah, well, I had them, I think, fifth with my personal predictions, but only because I don't know how they're going to gel together. Chemistry is one. It's funny because the Battery core, like back in the day, was like, Alpha, LT, Philip, Sprixie. They won D4, I think it was, like maybe 5 seasons ago. They have good chemistry with like their core, but they have several others that are slotting in, like Mirimeg, Tay, who, by the way, Tay is very good. He's 10 for 10 for sure. He's so good. Hints, I think, is another player that is newer for this team. But I don't know who's going to be their 4. All I know is that Tay is going to be really good. I have him as my D4 MVP. LT is good for the div. Alpha's decent. Mirimeg is good. I mean, I played with him at LAN IRL. Very good mechanically. Has had issues in previous years with chemistry with teams, and some people thought he had maybe a bit of an ego, maybe a little bit of playing for himself, like with the calls. But I think he's matured, and like seeing him IRL, he's matured a lot, and I think he can definitely provide some good frontal presence. Don't know about Chem, but I think looking at this Jobsy Battery team again, I don't think I would have them 5th now, maybe 4th. I think 4th is right for them. But I think some question marks with Chem with these new players coming in, but we'll see how that goes.
The bagging situation, I'm just going to go over right quickly. Very well. Ryan UK bagging will be very good for that team. They also have like one of the coolest tags that you will ever see in GSC. It's so sick.
You're right about that. They have a cool tag.
Yeah, moving on to EXO. They have Artie, Connor, Cookie, Cinda, Ethan, Ghostway, JP Givener, Nick, Sale, Savannah, Season, Tomzu, Twingy, Yoster, and Zane. Their core players being Artie, Cookie, Season, Yoster, Zane, Ethan. Their one bag clause is Barry. I would assume they would have run clauses or just full clauses bagging for them as well. This team is very good chemistry, very good with their item play. I I'm very interested to see how they do in the frontal presence, though, compared to the rest of the div. What do you think about them, Jaggy?
Let's see. EXO, I'm trying to remember where I predicted them because they very historically, one of the oldest teams. Maybe not. One of the oldest teams in this season. You have several old teams like AV, WZ, etc. I will say for one that the addition of Yoshir, or re-addition, because he's been a part of that EXO core for so long, is very important for them. I think that Yoshir is one of the candidates for MVP. I don't think he is, but you can definitely see him in the top 3 conversation. And then you have ridiculously good chem with them. One thing about EXO that I think would prevent them from winning the div would be maybe overall running power in like the overall sense. I think they're decent runners, but let's see. We have a couple other, like Ethan's good. Ethan's a very good runner. Zane's a very good runner. I think Zane, maybe the game has evolved a little bit at a faster pace than Zane, playing with him in Sub-Zero in the past couple seasons ago. But he's still decent. I still think he's D4 quality, but I don't think he's going to be far and away like carrying the team. So I think adding Yoshir was a very important decision for them. And I also think Artie's good too. Their bagging is a little tricky. Jamie's bagging for them, and Savannah also bags for them. And Savannah's bagged a long time, but hasn't been like a ridiculously good bagger. She's been good, but I don't think she's going to be like one of their absolute best baggers compared to, let's say, Klaus for AV, or like Brody for XE, or Bali for Gampt. But I do think overall EXO are decent enough chemistry-wise, running-wise, etc. And I do think they make playoffs. I have them as my 3rd team, I think. But
Okay.
What do you think? I think you already said.
I think,
your piece.
yeah, they could do very well. We do have to move on. I'll give that very,
Yeah.
like in the MVP predictions. Moving on to Gampt. They're running Beckett, Eric, Arvo, Cabo, Lion, Log, Luna, Marky, and Victor, and their one bag clause is Bali. Just traditional Gampt, very fun. I would love to see a troll match this season. Marky is very good for D4. I mean, this team just has chem that just people wish they had. Just so good. What do you think, Jaggy?
I think my phone froze. Sorry. So
That's okay. I can go over it more.
Okay, I'm trying to pull up.
Yeah.
Yeah. Go ahead. My phone is frozen.
Yeah. I just don't really have a lot to say. I just think they have probably the best chem in the div.
Very good chem, and I pulled it up.
To watch.
Very good players. I pulled it up. Very good players.
It's
Victor Markey, 2 players I can go for MVP. And I also think that Lion, very experienced player. You don't see Lion too often in discussions about MVP, but I think Lion's strong. Maybe a little bit more in like pre-COVID and like just after COVID, but I think he has the experience to carry Gamp to success, like whether it be in the mid pack or running. And I think Arvo is a very good piece as well as a 4th player. And then Log, decent. Eric, maybe not a D4 level, but I think very good chem-wise with them too. And Bali's a good bagger. I think they are very well equipped.
Yeah.
Want to move on to the last?
Yeah, let's
team
just
here
move on.
Div. Avail.
Got AB.
Yep.
Classic
0,
AB,
Avel, Ballin.
Yeah. Who?
Yeah, I got Biore, Klaus bagging, Joris, Joshua, Nozzles, Olifrey, Raz, Thomas, and Wyatt. Obviously, Avail, historically lost out on a couple players. They kind of went down the pecking order a little bit in terms of which div they're placed. But historically, they've always been contenders in D3 through 4. D2, they've always been kind of like known as the kind of like gatekeepers of D2 and D1. But I think easily the community got this one right. I think that they're very strong all around. I mean, you have Ballin, who's very much the glue. I mean, I saw somebody say, "Oh my God!" Like when he's playing for VF, it's like whatever, but when he's playing for AV, like he has a magical horseshoe up his butt. Like when he has AV tag, he plays ridiculously good, but also he's just such a good playmaker, and he holds the team together. And you have players like Thomas, who's a very good runner, Olifrey, very good runner for D4, who has D1 and D2 experience, Olifrey. And then Raz is decent, or Raz rather. Wyatt, I think I would have Raz over Wyatt in terms of skill, but Wyatt's probably going to start for them over Raz in terms of chem. Wyatt's not that bad either. And Joris as a bagger is decent, but Klaus bagging, easily the best bagger in the div, I think. And I think it's so hard to get AV out. I think they're very good.
Yeah. I don't really have much to say other than like it's just classic AV. I think Olifrey will do very well. He had a very strong showing in the World Cup. Obviously, he's been playing forever. Been kind of on a heater after that World Cup. I think he will do very well in D4. Honestly, I mean, very strong MVP candidate that we'll see very soon. They also have very good chem. Klaus bagging will go very well. Klaus is a very good bagger. Some of the players on their team, on the roster, I just don't know very well, to be completely honest.
Yeah, I mean, AV just super strong altogether. I have them winning the div.
Yeah. All right, let's move on. MVPs. Here we go. Okay, so we got Marquis Sam and Olifrey.
Marquis Sam, Olifrey.
This feels right. I would say Nubbly, but Nubbly's not going to play a lot. I was told that he was going to be gone after the first week or something. He would have been a sleeper, but I do think my MVP prediction is Olifrey. I just think the experience will just really take over at some points, and I think Klaus is very good at bagging, so that'll definitely help. Navy will be good with their items as well.
All right. That will wrap up D4.
Okay, so...
And do we have any other casters coming in for High Div?
No, we don't. Okay, so very important for everyone watching. D3 to D1 will happen another day. We did have a lack of casters, so if you are High Div and have High Div expertise, please reach out. We will have to do the cast another day, or maybe we do it today, like an emergency one. I don't know, but we don't have casters for that. So if you are, just reach out, see if we can get something done. But for at least the first section of the prediction stream, thank you everyone for watching. Jay, you got anything?
I do not have anything else to say. Glad to have joined you guys along the cast, and yeah, good stuff. I'm glad to have provided my expertise and my excitement. I know there's a little controversy with D6, but that's okay. I mean, I provided my my actual opinion and how I actually felt, so I don't feel sorry for any of that.
Yeah, shout out to Masako for stream hosting. Stream hosting is a very difficult job. Did great.
Oh yeah, Masako.
Thank you.
Oh my god, props to Masako. Good stuff.
Yeah. But other than that, thank you everyone for watching, and we'll see you next time on D3 to D1 cast for Grand Star Cup.